in today's world, dopamine rush is probably the biggest thing, from Instagram to instant gratification to the real world to what you're seeing to half naked chicks all the time on the internet. Even dudes are doing that shit now. You have OnlyFans content. You have all these people doing the weirdest shit on the internet that's causing you to get a dopamine rush to make you feel like your life is not as good as theirs. And what I want to do is talk a little bit about how doing a dopamine detox, in my opinion, is one of the most important things that you can do. Like, for example, what I do is I've set a timer on my Instagram where it only allows me to use Instagram for 1 hour of the day. And after the 1 hour is up, it literally forces you to actually make you use it again by giving you a prompt. It locks you out of it and says, hey, do you want to only use it for 1 more minute, 15 minutes, or immediately eliminate the timer for the rest of the day? So it really makes you think on how much time you're using and how much time you're using on the internet, how much time you're using on Instagram, which is ultimately probably the highest form of dopamine outside of watching other things on the internet, which you know what I'm talking about. And then understanding that aspect of your life, your senses are so heightened that once you get into real life communication and real world environments with socializing with real individuals from a face-to-face basis, you start actually realizing that you're not as good as a communicator as you think you are. You're not as good as a friend as you think you are. All of a sudden, your expectations are so high based off what you're seeing on the internet, especially in my world when it comes to, for example, being single. When it comes to women, right? What you see on the internet, I notice, is like your expectations for other individuals now are a lot higher when it comes to the way they look, the way you perceive them, how they carry themselves, which is actually unfair expectations to set for individuals that you're meeting, right? Because back in the day, if you go back 10 years ago, if you met a girl or you're dating a girl, and let's say that you guys broke up after 6 months or a year, but when you broke up, you just broke up. You never saw them again. You never were able to stalk them on the internet. So the value of you having that relationship with somebody is a lot higher because they're not replaceable when it comes to that dopamine in your mind and in your body and that chemical reaction that's let out into your body, right? You're essentially, what's happening there is that you are actually missing the person. The person's no longer existing, but now it's like you just go on Instagram, you go on Tinder, you go on Bumble, these dating apps, you start swiping or you meet somebody else new. So the reason I made this video is how to reset your mind for success is eliminating those type of highs and lows that come from dopamine rushes, like in Instagram, watching things on the internet, drugs, alcohol. That's the biggest thing. I feel like my income actually 2x'd when I quit alcohol in the beginning or middle part of 2022. We're filming this in January 2024. So that gives you a little bit of context on how a lot of my mind shifted when I eliminated that version of dopamine, which is probably the highest. That's actually the most used drug is alcohol, and alcohol is a drug. So, and it kills your brain cells. So this is the thing where I wanted to talk about, is that eliminating those things, or not necessarily eliminating them completely, because I know some people can't do that and it's not really feasible to some people's lifestyle, which I understand, but it's decreasing those things so that you can actually go and be successful every morning and not have a hangover, not feel lazy, not have those ups and downs and your mood swings and your levels of those dopamine, where once you eliminate those things, now in real life you can be more present. So those are some things I feel like people could eventually try, or you should try, or you could take steps towards those things. And then ultimately that's what's going to help you achieve the things that you want to achieve and rewire your mind to ultimately be successful in the role that you're in, whether if you're leading a company, leading an organization, leading an engineering team, leading a sales team, or you work a regular job where you're communicating with people on a day in and day out basis at a coffee shop or a server, right? These are all things that are going to benefit you in the long run to ultimately set you up for success. And I always say this to people, is that you have to be the person that you want to be long before you ever get the title. And what I mean by that is, like, if you want to be a CEO, you have to do CEO activities before you ever become a CEO. You have to have the same ownership, responsibilities, and actions and leadership that a CEO would have long before you ever get the title. And that applies to anything else. You want to be a husband, you want to be a wife, same concept. So anyways, hopefully this helps somebody. Thanks for watching, and see y'all later.